Staff at Germany's refugee agency are being accused of illegally granting asylum to hundreds of migrants, in some case taking cash bribes in exchange for it. The agency, called BAMF, has now told RT it's expanding an internal investigation into the claims. The scandal initially broke out in April with media reports of widespread bribery at the agency's office in Bremen. The Federal Migration Agency says it now plans to review a further 8,500 approvals in nearly a dozen branches, on top of some 18,000 cases in Bremen. It's thought around 1,200 asylum claims were approved illegally between 2013 and 2016. One former official and 5 other employees are already being investigated over it.
If the applications don't meet the necessary criteria, we will consider whether these decisions to grant asylum should be cancelled. We will be also considering sanctions against certain employees of the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees.
That was the head of Germany's Migration and Refugee Agency, who's also under investigation over whether or not she knew anything about these problems. It's troubles like that seen public confidence in the agency plummet, with 80% of Germans saying their trust has run out right now. It sparked outrage too among some of the country's left-wing politicians.
It is questionable whether the events in Bremen were really the exception. Trust in the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees is shaken.
We want the Office for Migration and Refugees to be able to work in accordance with the law, starting now and not just a few years from now.
Germany's Migration Agency points out that just because there's an ongoing investigation, it says it doesn't necessarily mean that any wrongdoing has taken place. Geopolitical consultant Rainer Rothfuss told us that the problem has long been known about, but no action had been taken until recently.
Asylum seekers have said that they have paid 1,000 euros to the lawyer, and then they did not even have to show up in Bremen. And it's obvious that Bremen has taken asylum decisions far too hastily without making also security background checks. This might only be the tip of the iceberg. And many more similar cases may have occurred in other BAMF dependencies. BAMF itself is not the real problem. What is the real scandal is that the detection of the problems has occurred already in 2014, and nothing has been done by BAMF, by the former Minister of Interior.